evening. There's a new twist in the Aryan Khan case. One of the witnesses in the case, Prabhakar Sahil, has made very strong allegations against the Narcotics Control Board Zonal Chief Sameer Wankhede and also a private detective KP Gosavi in an affidavit. In the affidavit, Prabhakar Sahil, who you can see on the right hand side of your screen, who was a bodyguard of PK Gosavi, says that he heard Mr. Gosavi and another person named Sam D'Souza talk about 25 crores and settle at 18 crores as they have to give 8 crores to Sameer Wankhede. Remember, Wankhede is the officer investigating this case. Now, Sahil, again, the person you see on the right hand side of your screen, claims to have seen Shah Rukh Khan's manager, Pooja Dadlani, KP Gosavi, the private investigator you saw there on the left hand side of your screen in that black and red shirt, and the person known as Sam sit in a blue Mercedes vehicle after the drugs raid on a cruise liner 2 weeks back and speak for 15 minutes. Now, he alleges that he received a call from PK Gosavi, who asked him to sign 10 blank papers. He says he collected 2 bags of cash with 50 lakhs and gave it to Gosavi. Prabhakar Sahil claims that he has been the personal bodyguard to KP Gosavi. He fears for his own life now. Why? Because Gosavi himself is missing. But let's play that video, because that's what we really are talking about. The video that you will now see on your screen actually has KP Gosavi questioning Aryan Khan. Let's have that video on the 2 box. KP Gosavi, you can see on the left hand side of the screen, with a cell phone is getting Aryan Khan to say something. Now, the point is this: who is KP Gosavi? How is he in the Narcotics Control Bureau office? How is he so close to somebody who's an alleged suspect in this particular case? Remember, Gosavi is the same person who tweeted this selfie of his with Aryan Khan when he was arrested earlier on. In this video, which has now emerged, again apparently at the NCB office, he's wearing different clothes. And the significance of that is that he obviously had access to Aryan Khan more than just on that occasion when he tweeted out that photograph earlier on. So the question is, who is this man? What business does he have to be, next to a suspect, to be holding up a cell phone and making him say a statement or anything of the sort? And what about the allegations of the man on the right hand side of your screen? His former bodyguard, who says that he now fears for his life. Why? Because Gosavi, that private investigator, appears to have disappeared for now.
आणि अचानक त्या गाडीच्या मागे निळ्या कलरची मर्सिडीज आली. मी बघितलं जाऊन तर त्या गाडीमध्ये SRKची जी मॅनेजर होती ती बसलेली. मग ह्या तिघांमध्ये मीटिंग झाले आणि त्याच्यामध्ये काय झालं ते त्यावेळेला मला कळलं नाही. तर मग गाडीमधून परत त्यांनी फोन केला की 25चा बॉन्ड टाक, लास्ट 18ला कर, कारण की 8 समीर वानखेडे साहेबांना जाणार आहेत आणि 10 आपल्याला वाटून घ्यायचे. एवढं मी त्यांचं फोनवरचं संभाषण ऐकलं.
Well, joining us now, Rizwan Merchant is a lawyer representing Arbaz Merchant, one of the individuals who has been arrested in this particular case along with Aryan Khan. We are also joined by Abhishek Tripathi, the former social media head of the BJP in Mumbai. Mr. Merchant, let me come to you first. Firstly, before the allegations made in this notary signed affidavit by this former bodyguard let's talk a little bit about the video. It shows this private detective in the proximity of Aryan Khan. What business does he have to be getting some sort of statement from Aryan Khan on a cell phone inside the NCB office when he's not a part of the Narcotics Control Bureau?
You see, practicing in the field of defending accused in narcotics, I have regularly seen that whenever an accused is taken into custody by any department which is functioning as an officer under 42 of the NDPS Act, they never allow even family members to come and talk to an accused. I am rather shocked and surprised as to how is it that an outsider, KP Gosavi, has been allowed to have access to discussion with Aryan and more particularly talk on the cell phone. Now, what needs to be investigated and find out and who was on the other end of the cell phone, and what was that instruction that was given by Aryan to that particular person. Now, this is something which needs to be investigated. Apart from the fact that the discussion has taken place, the disclosures in the affidavit disclose the commission of a cognizable offence in respect of extortion.
Yeah, I'll talk about that in a second. I just want to, Mr. Merchant, talk a little bit more about this video. It shows Gosavi wearing something else.
It appears that Gosavi has been speaking onto the cell phone, and after completing his part of the conversation, he makes Aryan talk on that particular cell phone.
So my point is separate. My point is the clothes that Gosavi is wearing, and for that matter, the clothes that Aryan are wearing, appear to be different from the clothes that was first shown on Twitter when Gosavi had put out that selfie along with Aryan Khan. So the point is,
you're right.
He had access to Aryan Khan on more than one occasion. That is significant.
I agree with you. I fully agree with you. And obviously, it is very clear that this access on the telephone was given to Aryan on a day other than the day on which he was arrested. Because the clothes that both of them were wearing were different on the day when you see KP Gosavi holding Aryan and rushing into the office of NCB onto the footpath after bringing him from the police.
I'm wondering if we can have a two-shot of the new video or the new pictures and the old one, just so that I can reinforce this point before we move on. We'll have that up in a moment from now. Mr. Merchant, the other key point, of course, is the allegations of extortion, that apparently there was money which was supposed to change hands. Again, these are allegations. So would you like to tell us about that, sir?
You see, under Section 154 of the Code of Criminal Procedure, any information which is received, either in person or through any other source, or even from social media, an officer of the police it is enjoined upon him to record that information and register an FIR and start investigation. So if this information in the body of this affidavit of sale, as well as the information which is coming on social media, definitely discloses the commission of an offence of extortion which is cognizable in nature, what needs to be done is register an FIR and investigate the entire issue.
Yeah.
It's not necessary at the time of registration of the FIR to name any particular person as an accused. Investigation under an FIR can be done against an unknown person also. Right. The moment investigation starts and that unknown person gets known, then you can add him into the FIR or add him into the case as a potential suspect or an accused against whom investigation will proceed. I feel it is a fit case where at least an FIR, even against unknown people, needs to be registered to find out what the truth is. Because investigation in this case will have a severe impact on the case of NCB, which is pending before the High Court.
Mr. Merchant, one final question to you before I go across to Abhishek Tripathi. My question to you, Mr. Merchant, is this. Until such time as there is clarity and after these allegations have been raised, and the allegation is that there may have been money, apparently an attempt to bribe the investigator, Mr. Wankhede, in this case. Until such time, should not somebody else in the NCB be investigating this?
Well, I do agree with you, but the thing is that NCB is one particular department. They may be having different zones. You understand? And even if you take away the investigation from one zone and give it to another zone, the second zone is not going to be free from any influence from the first zone. They are all one single unit which is headed by a director or a zonal director from Delhi. So it doesn't make any difference whether it is shifted from Wankhede and gone to any other person. What is important is the entire investigation which is being done till today has come under a big cloud of doubt, because these issues which are now being dealt with are in respect of the case at the threshold of the case.
Sure.
When the case was registered, everything subsequently done has now become questionable.
Abhishek Tripathi, in light of this new video and of these strong allegations, do you believe that something has to be done to enhance transparency in how this is being investigated?
Vishnu, let me start off saying whatever we are seeing since afternoon, this is very unfortunate that things are unfolding in this manner. But my one question to the gentleman who's come as a witness, where was he for last 3 weeks? is there any pressure on him from the Maharashtra government or the Honorable Minister who has been talking against Mr. Sameer Wankhede that we will put him behind bars in few days? So is this a conspiracy of that sort? Because on what basis that this person who was made a punch suddenly comes after 20 days, 22 days and says all of that we have heard?
Okay.
So I am not very sure how to believe somebody just because somebody has today chosen to appear on television and say everything, and he'll have to prove it.
No, Abhishek, I think that's an important point. But that said, it's not just appearing. Prabhakar Sahil is not just appear on television. He's got a publicly notarized document. So he is legally accountable for the allegations. It's not just coming on TV.
So Vishnu, I will say, he has a right to file a complaint and let there be investigation.
Yeah.
These are two different things.
Yeah.
There is a case on Aryan Khan supposedly, and that is happening. Day after tomorrow, there is a bail hearing in Mumbai High Court. That will proceed as per. Let him file a case. Let there be a judicial or whatever the government decides in terms of inquiry. Let it proceed.
No, but Abhishek, my only submission over here, my only point over here is, what difference does it make if he has filed this complaint 20 days later and not 2 days later? What really, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a complaint. Maybe, I mean, he fears for his life now. He says that this Gosavi has disappeared and that there is a lookout for the Gosavi. So,
Absolutely.
that was not the case earlier on. It is now, which is why he says he feels he's scared and he feels he may be bumped off. I mean, that's essentially what his allegation is.
This was bound to happen because if he had done it barely 3 days before, when the Honorable Minister openly in the press conference and different news channels, he was literally threatening Mr. Sameer Wankhede, an officer in NCB, that we will ensure that he'll be behind the bars. So it is happening right barely 48 hours or 72 hours barely after that. So there is a suspicion everywhere.
I think that's fair. I think there is a suspicion everywhere. There's a political series of allegations.
I would agree with Abhishek. Agree with Abhishek. But the thing is that during the course of investigation, this issue which Abhishek has raised will also be investigated. The authenticity, the genuineness, and the delay in making of this complaint will also be investigated. But for investigation, you first need an FIR. First, an FIR needs to be investigated, and I said it can be registered against an unknown person.
No, so, and there's no FIR. That's important. Abhishek, would you agree? There is an allegation now, file an FIR. That has to be done instantly.
That absolutely. I said that in the beginning.
Okay.
Let there be inquiry on this.
Okay, let there be an inquiry, obviously based on an FIR. I'd like to thank you both very much for joining us. Thank you very much indeed.